Day is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And look, so are you. You're here as well. Welcome. Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393, Pat Unleashed on Twitter. NBA draft last night. And the Dallas Mavericks, who made it to the playoffs, right? They had a pretty good year last year. No?
No, they were like the 7th seed.
Oh, they were playing playoff.
Then they traded away Luka and fell even further.
That's true.
Lost the play-in game.
However, they didn't deserve the number one pick, but they got it through
Interesting
the
how that happens in the NBA.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not the first time it's been interesting at the old NBA draft lottery.
So they, of course, got Cooper Flagg from Duke. Picked him first. And let's see, who else turned out to be a lottery pick? Oh, look at that. At number 8, Yegor Demon from BYU. Huh. Isn't that something? What a week it's been for my BYU Cougars. But look at this this Duke situation. They had, let's see, 2, 3, I think they had 4 picks in the top 10.
Wow.
Is that right? Good gosh.
Let's see, yeah.
That's really something. Right now. Okay, well, they had first. They had the number 1 pick, obviously.
Yeah, 1, 4.
And 4.
10.
Yeah, 10. So they had 3 in the top 10. Mm-hmm. And then number 11, Cedric Coward. So they had 4 in the top 11.
Okay.
Got a little something going for them there too. So
I thought that was
good for them.
Looks like a Washington State player, no? It went at 11.
I've got Cedric Coward, guard from Duke, is what mine says.
Well, mine says Cedric Coward, forward, Washington State.
Okay, little AI problem here.
Oh.
AI got a little bit lazy.
Is that what you're doing? AI?
No, I've got
This is interesting.
No, it's Bleach Report.
Oh, I'm at ESPN.com. Well, we know ESPN's track record, so this is probably wrong.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Eventually, if we cared, we'd check it out right now, but I don't that much. So, interestingly, at The Hague yesterday, the head of NATO chatted with President Trump about Israel and Iran. Here's how that went.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like 2 kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
Okay, so then Daddy has to use strong language. So, of course...
That was picked up by everybody.
Yes.
He called you Daddy!
That's fine.
Okay. Jeez. Yeah, in the scope of that analogy, he called him Daddy.
Daddy Trump.
Jeez. So, of course, the press had to ask about him being called Daddy.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Wait.
No, it wasn't exactly like that, though, either.
That's
kind of weird.
I wonder how he answered that, though. I didn't see the full answer. Are they your children? Because it feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... I mean, obviously, with Iran and Israel, it was the original analogy that was being made. But with NATO, I think, over there, it feels like that.
But there, if he said that, that would, of course, be spun ugly. Mm-hmm. He spoke more about the strike on Iran yesterday, too.
You saw that where 14 missiles were shot at us the other day. And they were very nice. They gave us warning. They said, we're going to shoot them. Is 1 o'clock okay? They said, it's fine. And everybody was emptied off the base, so they couldn't get hurt except for the gunners. They call them the gunners. And out of 14 high-end missiles that were shot at the base in Qatar, all 14, as you know, were shot down by our equipment. Amazing stuff. Amazing that they can do. It's like shooting a bullet with a bullet. It's the same thing if you think about it. 14 out of 14, and they weren't even that surprised. I said, do you do that well often? They say we pretty much do, sir. The Ukraine crisis has also highlighted the urgency of rebuilding.
Okay, I guess we don't get to hear about the Ukraine crisis.
Shoot.
How we're rebuilding our...
Ukraine.
Yeah, dang it.
Off the front page.
It's interesting, though, because that, of course, was spun in that, wait, you okayed the attack on a U.S. base? That's how some of the press is responding to that. Because they asked him, I mean, did it really go down like that? Is 1 o'clock okay? Is that possible?
Well, they did contact
Yeah, they told us in advance. Yeah, they went to the Qataris and told them what was happening. Then the Qataris go to us. We say something to the Qataris. They go back to Iran with it.
Yeah, 1 o'clock works. Yeah.
Interesting. But that, of course. Okay, so you gave the okay for them to attack our U.S. base. That's how it's being spun by some.
Yeah.
But yesterday in Washington, the leak about the damage to Iran's nuclear bunkers was the main topic. And White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt dealt with that.
They took bits and pieces from a leaked top secret intelligence report. And by the way, I understand the FBI is investigating who was the source of that leak because it's an illegal leak to CNN. And this is the same fake news CNN reporter who wrote the story alleging that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, which we know is one of the greatest political hoaxes this country and the American public have ever seen. And that CNN story does not change the facts. There was a total and complete obliteration of Iran's nuclear facilities. And because of the president's strike, because of the precision of our United States military and this perfectly executed mission, Iran no longer has the capability to produce a nuclear weapon as imminently as they did prior to the strike. The American people and the world should be grateful for that, and it's disgusting that CNN and the New York Times are disparaging not just the president, but our brave men and women who helped conduct this highly successful operation.
And what kind of consequence could the leaker face?
See ya.
They should go to jail.
Going to jail.
True.
Yep. But I love it. I mean, we rarely get shots underneath the White House like that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was.
Look at that.
Uh-huh.
I want to know how many tunnels are there. I mean, that's history down in.
And reporters have access to that area?
Isn't that wild?
Interesting.
Yeah. Huh.
You would think they'd be kept out of that particular area. That looks like it should be a private, secure...
Yeah.
Like I'm going to my car kind of thing. I don't need you bugging me down here, too.
Yeah, that right there is behind the storefronts at the mall.
Right.
We just got let into the secret.
Employees only is what it says on the door. Employees only. You can't go past this point.
Boy, it's going to be interesting to see who the leaker was. I'm sure they'll find out.
I hope so. And they should go to jail. I mean, you're putting people at risk here. You're essentially committing treason against your country. So when it comes to further assessment of the damage in Iran, though, former UN weapons inspector David Albright said this.
You could see that the key nodes of a centrifuge program were hit. There were 3 sites that make the centrifuges, and those had actually been declared to the International Atomic Energy Agency, and so there's a confidence there weren't others, and so all 3 were destroyed. There's a critical facility to make the feed gas. It's kind of like the gasoline that would go into a centrifuge or a car. The centrifuge would take this uranium hexafluoride and then spin it and turn it into enriched uranium, and that site was heavily damaged by the United States. And so what you have is Iran can't make centrifuges, and it can't produce, in a sense, the equivalent of the gas that would go into a car. So the program is severely damaged. Now, we also found that it's pretty credible that the damage it done at the Natanz underground site could have destroyed quite a few centrifuges. There's about 15,000 there. It's the workhorse of the centrifuge program.
15,000. Wow. That's a number of centrifuges.
Yeah.
So, but they were not anywhere near developing a nuclear weapon. This is just for peaceful purposes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's pretty interesting. Apparently, we know about yet another site that is just being built, and it's further underground, supposedly, than Fordo. And the International Atomic Energy Agency said, "Hey, what are you doing over at this particular area? What are you doing there?" And they were told by the Iranians, "Yeah, that's none of your business." Huh. Oh, okay. So you do want to get hit again? Because that's not a good response. If all you're doing is creating energy for peaceful purposes to power your country, you shouldn't have any problem with this. The former NATO Supreme Allied Commander General Philip Breedlove added this.
There's some facts here. We have the very best planners, weaponeers, targeteers that put together a plan for how to use this great weapon, the MOP. And we know that plan was delivered to pilots who pulled this off in an amazing way. And it's more than the pilots. It's the joint team, the naval fires, the suppression fires, the things that the F-35s and F-22s did on their way in. The orchestration of a large package like this is a really big deal, and it went off magnificently. And from all the indications and the debriefs, the pilots and the aircraft and the weapons nailed it. They did it perfectly. So we should have, as kind of Norm said, an expectation that there was significant damage to this site.
I also love the fact that not a shot was fired at these guys. Mm-hmm. That just shows how efficient and how well these stealth bombers work. The stealth fighters, the stealth bombers, apparently our jamming technology is apparently pretty amazing. For them not even to get a shot taken, that's incredible. They had no idea we were there until after everything blew up. Then it was a little late. So
obvious then.
Pretty amazing. Just a great operation. And if you don't believe us, if you don't believe these people, how about the Iranian Foreign Ministry? The spokesman for the ministry said this.
Can you tell us, I'm going to insist on this a little bit more, what remains operational today as far as Iran's nuclear program?
Hello.
I have nothing to add on this matter because it's a matter of technical issue. Our Atomic Energy Organization and other relevant agencies are working on that. But yes, our nuclear installations have been badly damaged. That's for sure, because it has come under repeated attacks by Israeli and American aggressors.
Okay. They were badly damaged, I believe was the direct quote, right?
Yeah.
Badly damaged. That's from Iran.
Of course, he wants to throw us off the trail. He wants us to believe that everything's
still
ruined.
What they would normally say is that they don't have any damage. We're fine.
No, exactly.
It failed completely.
And he was saying that on Al Jazeera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Kind of shocking to me, actually. Because all you get from Iran is lies. And for them to be at least that up front is it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Representative Jasmine Crockett
love her.
Wasn't talking about the nuclear strike, of course, because that went too well. And so she won't want to talk about that. So she goes back to the illegal situation. And here's what she said.
Yes, we will say people are xenophobic because when you start to decide that just because somebody came from another country, they are automatically some kind of criminal, that does sound kind of xenophobic to me. Because you are using a paintbrush to paint an entire group of people where the vast majority of them are coming here because they are actually seeking a better life.
Yeah, but they've come here illegally. Okay? Do we need to explain the word illegal to you?
Right.
It doesn't matter why they came. The fact is they didn't come here the right way, so they have done it illegally. That has nothing to do with their ethnicity or the country they came from. It has everything to do with the law.
So hang on a second.
The law of the United States of America.
Let's see if I have this straight. You cross a border without a government's knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. And that you're saying is a crime?
Yes.
Okay. So what would you call someone who commits a crime?
A criminal. That's what I would call them.
So I think, there you go.
You know,
Jasmine, I hope that made sense. Hope that cleared it up for you.
Holy crap. No, because she's just butt stupid, and I don't think there's any clearing anything up for her. I know. My gosh. All right, we got more from the circus coming up here in a second, but when it comes time for you to make a move, whether it's in the same town or anywhere else, maybe across the country, you're going to want a real estate agent, and not just any real estate agent. You want someone who's really good at what they do, not some fly-by-night agent. I mean, moving is tough enough, it's stressful enough without having to worry about your realtor and whether or not they're going to do a good job. That's why Glenn put this company together, Real Estate Agents I Trust, and we found the best real estate agents all across the country in every specific market. If there wasn't somebody who was really great at what they do, there's just no realtor that belongs to this group in that area. But we were able to find, 1,500 or so across the country, so there's one near you. Go to Real Estate Agents I Trust. Check it out for yourself. It's a free service we provide to you. We just set you up with a realtor, and then you find that you have a lot in common with them because they too are almost always listeners to the show, and there are people who have great track records. Real Estate Agents I Trust, the name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed is back.
So, the madness just continues. I've never seen anything like the way the left is acting in this country. In just a full-out revolt, pretty much right now. There's a vice mayor in Kari, California, who posted a message on social media aimed at local gang members. She wanted to know why they aren't helping to push back against ICE.
Oh, boy.
Not for nothing, but I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at?
Where's the leadership?
Because you guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Florencia. You guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you. It's everyone else who's not about the gang life that's out there protesting and speaking up. We're out there like fighting our turf, protecting our people. Where you at?
Where are you
bien calladitos, todos los chulitos. I'm like, dude, they're running amok all up in on your streets and in your city. And peep, when the big gang guns come in, nothing but like quiet, and we're out here, the regular ones that have never been jumped in, out here calling things out, trying to organize people, trying to do the thing. So don't be trying to claim no block, no nothing. If you're not showing up right now, trying to help out and organize, I don't want to hear a peep out of you once they're gone, trying to claim that this is my block. This was not your block. You weren't even here helping out. So whoever's the leadership over there, just get your members in order.
Okay. Again, I've never seen anything like it. That is just, it's open revolt. That's the vice mayor of a town in California. Go to Mexico or wherever your loyalties lie, because they're certainly not here. Wow.
That is incitement.
Absolutely
if ever
it
there was
is.
one.
Absolutely.
That is
despicable. Wow.
Well,
how do you even get around that? Not being criminal. I mean, yeah, free speech, but you can't incite riots and things. You can't yell wolf in a crowded theater. We found that out from Nancy Pelosi, did we not?
That's right.
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
Okay, so I think she just cried wolf. Not in a crowded theater, but to her cholos.
In a crowded town there.
Wow.
I'm just trying to see if there's any update. I don't see.
Seriously, if an ICE agent is injured or worse now, you can go right directly to her for inciting that. That's unreal. On the other side of the issue is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And yesterday, There's an interesting theory going around in Florida.
Yeah, no, he's right. The alligator.
The alligators surrounding an Alcatraz type prison.
What was just one official way I understand it in Florida has spread. I mean, that thing
I think people like the idea.
Absolutely. It got to the ear of the Trump administration, and then it came back to DeSantis, and that's where we picked this clip up.
We can't have every illegal housed in our jails because we actually have non-illegals who need to be housed there when they commit crimes too. So if you're doing the immigration enforcement and you're putting people, and there is a process to it, so they have to go. So if they're temporarily held, then they can be repatriated to their home country. That takes burdens away from the state of Florida and for Florida residents. But this has been an airport there that I think our goal is, if we do buy it, we will probably eventually just eliminate it and try to let the Everglades grow over it. But it's been there for a while and it's been used, and so we had a request from the federal government to do it, and so Alligator Alcatraz it is, and so you will see that be done.
Yeah, you will see that be done.
They're going to actually do the Alligator Alcatraz.
Sure sounds like it. Sure sounds like it. He went from Florida to D.C. and back to Florida. You heard the governor. We're going to do this.
Wow.
I love it.
That's amazing.
And he actually, in that whole setup there, he talked about a second site, too. Sounds like we're going to have a couple of Alligator Alcatrazes in the state of Florida. I love it. I love it. When I see a clip like that, I just wish my dad were here to see this. Those kind of clips, man. Because so many of us, I mean, that's practical. It's because it satisfies two needs. It's practical. You have a place to put these illegals, and it's also fun for us. Because, I mean...
And it's kind of a deterrent.
Use your resources, Florida. Good for you.
You're going to think twice before you jump into the swamp and try to swim away from Alcatraz there when it's surrounded by alligators. Right. It's going to be difficult.
They're just using their natural resources in the state of Florida.
Right.
Good
Saving
on
money.
You. I love it.
It's fewer security agents that you have to hire. Wow. What a world.
What a world.
And it's a world where Zohran Mamdani could become the next mayor of the city of New York. This is a hardcore, dyed-in-the-wool, adamant about it, socialist, who is spewing socialist parties or socialist policies and using the Democrat primary as a means to become because if you run as a socialist, not very many people are going to vote for you. You'll get a few hundred votes, maybe a couple thousand, but you're not going to become the next mayor of New York City if you admit to, although he does admit it in his policies. He doesn't call himself that, and he ran on a Democrat platform. But who's going to save New York City from this guy now? Wow. Here's a little bit of his acceptance speech after his big win the other night.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. One where those who toil in the night can enjoy the fruits of their labor in the day. Where hard work is repaid with a stable life. Where 8 hours on the factory floor or behind the wheel of a cab is enough to pay the mortgage. It is enough to keep the lights on. It is enough to send your kid to school. Where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized. Where buses are fast and free. Where childcare doesn't cost more than CUNY. And where public safety keeps us truly safe.
That's great.
And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism. To stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors. And to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
You know, there is a utopia like that, or at least there was. It was called the Soviet Union. Vietnam. Cambodia. Is that where you want to live? How are those paradises working for their people? Because everybody is the same there. Everybody's equal. Yeah, they're all equally poverty-stricken. That's what happens every single time the government takes over all of the things that he just ranted about there. How do you think the government takes control of the electricity payment, your food, the rent you pay? What happens then? Does that turn out to be a utopia? Never. Not once, not ever. It just doesn't work. And it's amazing that so many New Yorkers are being duped right now. Yeah, I want a New York that's affordable. Yeah, I don't want to have to pay $1 million for 1,000 square feet of space. Well, great. Welcome to this guy and the new reality in New York City. Fortunately, there's still a little bit of hope that this guy doesn't become elected as the mayor of the country's largest metropolitan area. Eric Adams is going to run against him as an independent, and so please keep your fingers crossed. I mean, Eric Adams is not ideal, but he's better than Cuomo or this guy, of course. And he was on Fox News. Is this from the Fox News appearance yesterday?
Yep.
Here's
Mr.
what
Mayor, it's
he
not
said.
just defund the police. This candidate, Democratic Socialist, he wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare, baby baskets for newborn, and a $30 minimum wage.
Ooh.
How can someone vote for this?
That's great.
He's a snake oil salesman.
Yes. Yes.
Full stop.
A $30 minimum wage. Why stop there? If $30 is good, why isn't $100 better? Why not $100 an hour?
I saw an old tweet of his floating around yesterday where he had posted, queer liberation means defund the police.
What?
I don't.
How are those even tied?
I don't know.
Okay.
But that's the quote. That's the Pat Gray bumper sticker, the takeaway here. Queer liberation means defund the police.
And he's starting that movement back up. Wow, this guy is an absolute nightmare. Can you imagine what would happen to New York City if this guy becomes the mayor? My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you might think, well, they're getting what they deserve. Yeah, except that's going to affect all of us, though. I mean, you know, Wall Street is not going to take kindly to this. They're already nervous on Wall Street about this guy.
Can we put an alligator Alcatraz around Manhattan Island?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how we got to this point. Jeez.
Oh, it's
one step at a time, I guess.
I was going to say, I mean, when you have one side that's deliberate in their destruction and the other side that is oblivious to it or complicit in it,
this
that's
is where
how
you wind
get
up.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, man. So Tom Homan also reacted to the things that Mamdani was saying.
Yeah.
Mayor candidate. He hasn't won yet, but he won the Democratic primary, Zohran Mamdani. So he's saying, I mean, this is incredible. He's vowed to kick the, quote, fascist ICE out of New York City, okay? So how do you intend to deal with that? Because I would guess there are going to be a lot of criminals and Iranian cells and whatnot in New York City. The job's not done there. What do you say to this guy?
Good luck with that. Federal law trumps him every day, every hour, every minute. We're going to be in New York City. Matter of fact, because it's a sanctuary city, President Trump made it clear a week and a half ago. We're going to double down and triple down on sanctuary cities. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the county jail, one agent arresting one bad guy, they release him in the streets like New York does every day. We got to send a whole team to look for this guy. And not only that, we're going to send additional teams to look for all the people they arrest. We're going to concentrate in sanctuary cities because we know they're releasing public safety threats and national security threats back to the street. So we know we got a problem there. So we don't have that problem in Florida where most sheriffs work for us. So we're going to double up and triple up on New York.
All right.
And not only are we going to send more agents to the neighborhood.
What you need to do. All right, we got more from him coming up.
Unleashed.
Couple of tweets to share. Hee-haw the Viking tweets Iran usually says that their enemies hit a hospital, a bunch of mosques, and schools. Sounds like we got their attention.
Sure does.
Caffeinated Texan Jasmine Crockett is a lawyer who doesn't understand the concept of illegality. This confirms my theory that any dumbass could be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Bob Loblaw tweets concerning the gang-loving vice mayor in California. Is it me, or don't cholos sound like something you can order on a Taco Bell menu? Yeah. They do. Yeah, they do.
Now I'm hungry.
Grammy Tamara tweets, can we send Jasmine Crockett, AOC, the squad, and the ladies from The View to Alligator Alcatraz?
Oh, I like it.
Oh, man. Wouldn't that be sweet? Oof. This is great. We've got this Mamdani guy who has a real shot at becoming mayor in New York. You've got the UN in New York. You've got world leaders that come from all over the place to gather together in New York City at the UN. And then we have this statement from Zohran Mamdani about one of those world leaders and what would happen to him if he was in New York City.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the US is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
I see. So you're going to follow international law, not the U.S. Constitution. Okay. All right. Well, I got it. That's your choice, New York.
Good grief.
He will arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to New York City. I think that would be a bit of a problem.
Man, 3 months ago, this guy was polling at 5%.
Right.
3.5 months ago, 2%.
Oh, my. 3.5 months ago, he was at 2%?
He was.
And just a few weeks ago, wasn't he like 14 points behind Cuomo? I mean, just recently we did a poll on that when we first started really hearing about him. I think the first time we ever played anything from him was that rent control thing he did, right? Mm-hmm. And we kind of laughed and noticed that, okay, yeah, that was a very specific area of rent he's vowing to control. And then it turned out, no, this guy's a hardcore socialist. He's a communist. He's really going to try to do all of these things.
And you had asked how long ago was his rap career. That was released in 2019.
So
he's
6
gone
years ago.
From rapping to city council to don't jinx it. Almost
Democrat
mayor.
nominee for mayor.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Only in America, but that's lost on people like Zohran Mamdani. And you talked about earlier. I forgot you played a clip or something, and it's like, and Mamdani's the same way. They want to destroy us. It's not like they talk a good game, and I'm sorry that New Yorker and New York voters fell for this guy. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's just the natural progression.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of this. You've gone from rhino to Democrat to socialist. So, I mean, we've gone...
in a 20-year period of time. Yeah.
This is New York City.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
Really bad. Really, really bad. I do love the fact, though, that the media has now taken up the cause of a journalist. First, there was Maryland Man, right? And now... there's a journalist who's been arrested. So the propaganda just continues for these illegals. Mario Guevara has been detained for being in the United States illegally. He's a Spanish-speaking activist journalist who illegally entered the United States 21 years ago. Well, okay, he's been here for a long time. Let him keep breaking the law, okay? If he's been breaking the law for a long time, you want him to be able to continue to do that, don't you? So he was arrested by police while live streaming a video of the June 14th No Kings rally near Atlanta, Georgia. Police body camera video shows he stood in the street briefly, shooting video while police were trying to clear the area of protesters. He attended the event wearing a helmet, a black vest printed with the word press, and a press pass lanyard hanging around his neck. Because of his immigration status, after local police finished with Guevara, they handed him over to ICE. Now he's become, of course, a media darling, and he's lawyered up to stop his deportation. Well, he's been here for a long time. You can't deport him now. It's a country he doesn't even know. Well, he'll learn it, right? I mean, if that's the truth, if he doesn't even know this country, and you hear that all the time, they've never even been to that country. Well, there's a lot of places I've never been, and when I go there, I'm fine. You know, before I'd gone to Israel, I'd never been there. And when I got there, it turned out okay because I learned while I was there. So taxpayer-funded NPR promoted his story on Morning Edition, featuring an interview from Catherine Jacobson, a program coordinator for the Committee to Protect Journalists, the CPJ, which we all know and love. A video of the incident shows Guevara wearing a visible press pass and verbally identifying himself as a journalist to officers prior to his arrest. Like that's supposed to shield him from arrest.
It's magic.
It is. It's an ollie ollie, I'll come free pass. I guess if you're a journalist and you wear the lanyard around your neck, you can do whatever you want.
It's the do you know who I am pass.
That's great.
Look, excuse me, this says press.
No, maybe you didn't see. Yeah. I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
And you're under arrest.
Right.
Mr. Journalist.
It's like a mask.
It's so great.
It's not going to stop us.
But how dare you wear a mask if you're an ICE agent? You can't do that.
Right.
You can only do that if you're a member of Antifa or, there's a 5-year-old pandemic that has pretty much dissipated, or you just feel like it because you're out looting and committing crimes as part of a protest. Then it's okay to wear a mask.
Boy, they continue to arrest known or suspected terrorists, different parts of the country. You like to see that, but this is equally...
It's chilling, though, how many
exactly
they're rounding up right now.
Especially when this story here, it says only 6% of known immigrant murderers have been deported at this point. Cool.
And I love the spin on that. First of all, ICE shouldn't be doing anything to anybody, and they're being impeded at every turn. But then the NBC story that you just had there is that they haven't done enough.
Right.
They've only rounded up 6%. That tells you how many, though, there are here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of murderers.
And it has the opposite effect of what they were going for. That they want us to be, pissed at that only 6% have been... It just shows how overwhelming it is.
Yes, it does.
That have been arrested.
Yes.
I think I said deported earlier. That just shows that, we have a very big problem here that's going to take a long time to solve.
And that's why ICE is out trying to do it right now. And they're being inhibited at every turn by these lawless a-holes on the left. God, it's been amazing to behold this incredible situation that we're in right now.
If I remember correctly, is the swearing in if Mamdani, isn't it right around New Year's Day? It's early January. So that's when he would turn the city as far as any cooperation with ICE.
Yeah.
Expect it right then, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a constitutional crisis if this guy is elected.
Yeah. And Homan just referred to it with his response to Mamdani.
The other thing that we haven't mentioned much with him is that Glenn had a guest on yesterday. Did you happen to see or hear any of her?
Yes.
She is Iranian, right? Yeah. And she had an incredibly horrific childhood because of her mom and her stepdad.
Married off to an
Islamist.
Was it Al Qaeda?
Yeah.
I think?
Yeah. and he was essentially a terrorist, and he brainwashed this woman's mother. And so the mother became cruel just like he was, and they tortured her, essentially. They would, because she wouldn't wear her hijab, they would hang her upside down in the garage and beat her feet with a whip.
Yasmin Mohammed.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, she said that this Mamdani is an Islamist like her stepfather. And she said not all of them are necessarily violent, but they all have the same goal in mind, and that's the downfall of the West.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another little fun element to the socialism and the radicalism of this guy, that he also, at least according to Yasmin, is an Islamist. So we got that going for us, too. Just the fun never stops with him. I just hope New Yorkers wake up between now and November. They have to, right? You got to believe, you got to trust in Americans that they're going to wake up somewhere along the line.
Do you ask Sliwa to step aside or join forces, I guess, and tell everybody, go vote
Put
for
everything
Eric
behind
Adams.
Eric Adams? Yeah, because Sliwa's not going to win.
Yeah.
No matter what you think of Curtis Sliwa, he's not going to win. Do you know where he's polling? Have we seen polls that involve him?
Gosh.
Because I'll bet he's under 5%. And, Eric Adams is the current mayor, so obviously he has a shot. Give somebody a chance to beat this Islamist, socialist, communist.
Yeah. And
see anything? Any polls?
No, I don't see anything right now. But what I started to say earlier with Homan responding directly to the rapping Marxist jihadist mayor to be, we hope not, is that we've got the supremacy clause. It's not like there's this gray area here,
right?
When it comes to immigration and enforcing our borders.
Yeah,
it's not like a
federal law supersedes
as much as
the
I
local
love
law.
the 10th Amendment,
Yes,
it doesn't
me too.
apply here.
Right. Right. And for good reason, because it wouldn't be the United States of America that has a constitution in place if you allowed localities like this to go against federal law. It doesn't make any sense. So, fortunately, yes, the founders did a pretty good job of setting up a foundation for this country. We also have OMB director Russ Vought. I always hear it pronounced either way, Vought or Vote.
I've always thought Vote.
Vote? Yeah, I think it's Vote too. But he's talking about where our tax dollars are
hear
going.
this kind of stuff.
This is good stuff.
It is critical that this body and the American people writ large understand that many foreign aid programs use benevolent-sounding titles to hide truly appalling activity that is not in line with American interest. For example, under the guise of so-called preventative care within PEPFAR program, Americans have been funding the following: $5.5 million to LGBTQ advocacy in Uganda.
That's good.
$800,000 for transgender people, sex workers, and their clients in Nepal.
Pause it for a second.
3.6
And their clients? Wait, the sex workers, okay.
Yeah.
I could go with the sex workers in Nepal. But their clients now? I've got to support them too?
Everybody needs help, man. Everybody
That
needs
is
help.
incredible. Start this from the beginning because, well, at least the beginning of the numbers that he gives. You don't have to do the very first part, but listen to this list. Really pay attention here to what we're funding.
To hide truly appalling activity that is not in line with American interest.
Okay.
For example, under the guise of so-called preventative care within PEPFAR program, Americans have been funding the following: $5.5 million to LGBTQ advocacy in Uganda. $800,000 for transgender people, sex workers, and their clients in Nepal. $3.6 for LGBTQ activism, free training in pastry cooking, psychosocial counseling, a cyber cafe, and the dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti.
Pause it.
And 1.1. It is critical
incredible.
that this body.
Do you have a problem with the dance focus groups? For male prostitutes?
No, not
in
as long
Haiti?
as they're making pastries.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
Seriously.
I'm never gonna go against pastries. I love pastries, and
Sure.
so I'm always in favor of delicious pastries, no matter who they're coming from. That is And listen to
These are
this
your tax dollars
stuff.
at work under the Biden administration.
All right, let him go.
Social counseling, a cyber cafe, and the dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti.
Dance focus groups
and
for male
1.1
prostitutes.
million to
words
produce
together.
gender transformation in diverse social and behavior change report, which advocates against, quote, gender blindness. Most Americans would be shocked and appalled to learn that their tax
I
dollars,
think we're all fine with
money
it.
they thought was going to medical care, was actually going to far-left activism, population control, and sex workers.
Uh-huh.
To be clear,
Well, and
no
their
life-saving
clients.
treatment
Don't forget
will be
their clients.
impacted by this this rescissions package.
Okay.
Anyone currently receiving life-saving treatment will continue to receive that treatment.
Okay, good.
You can still
Phew.
dance, too.
That was okay. But what about male prostitutes? Can they also be in the interpretive dance, and we're going to pay for
Yes,
it?
unless you
Okay.
cut off funding.
Yeah, I don't want to. And that only adds up to $9.4 billion. Get off us, would you please? It's $9.4 billion. What is that among male prostitute dancers?
And their clients.
And their clients in Nepal and Uganda. Jeez. Here was part 2 of Russ Vought.
Other examples of the type of spending proposed for rescissions are almost comically wasteful.
Wait, that
For
wasn't
example, complex crisis funding money went to voter ID in Haiti.
Okay.
Development assistance
But not
funding
here.
has been used
Not
for
here.
net zero cities in Mexico, electric buses in Rwanda, and critic powder in Madagascar. Global health money went to the
It's not funny,
International
but-
Planned Parenthood Foundation and UNFPA. IECA funding went to social media mentorship in Serbia and Belarus.
Good.
The Clean Technology
Belarus?
Fund was used for wind farms in Ukraine.
Okay.
The list goes
What
on.
do you hate, wind?
The American people didn't fund this.
Or
they didn't
farms.
intend to, at least. They didn't vote to continue the Washington status quo. The entire federal government must be responsible with each taxpayer dollar that comes to Washington. The American people voted for change. President Trump stands ready to put our fiscal house back in order and put the American taxpayer first.
Wow. That is stunning. That's a stunning list. I mean, we read a list of some of this stuff before. Some of those are brand new to me, though. I hadn't even heard some of those. I'm appalled that we're trying to take away the funding to male whores in Nepal and their clients.
And their clients.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
The reason
How
that
dare you?
you weren't aware of the entirety of that list is because you just go in there, all higgledy-piggledy with a machete, and just start cut. You don't even look to see if you're affecting male prostitutes.
I'm not using a scalpel with this.
And their clients.
No, you're right. I was too careless. You're right. Went in with a machete when a scalpel was necessary. It's only 9.4 billion. Leave it alone.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze
And
Radio Network.
Luckily, so are you here. Welcome. I guess we got some breaking news from Iran.
Here's a headline from the New York Post.
Okay.
Let's see here. It says Iranian Supreme Leader crawls out of bunker to ludicrously claim victory over Israel. Tehran, quote, delivered a hand slap to America's face. There you go. You know that?
I didn't know that.
You know the hand
now
slap.
I do, though. Now I do. We got a hand slap.
So there it was.
So we've gone from the mother of all battles to a hand slap. Okay.
I just love how the New York
Right.
Post puts ludicrously claims. Let's see, quote, the Islamic Republic was victorious and in retaliation delivered a hand slap to America's face, Khomeini said.
Jeez.
So there you
Okay.
go.
All right. Well, there you go.
Just
there you go. We're done.
So
we're done here. What? You know, they hadn't heard or seen him in over a week. He's been in that bunker for over a week, hiding like a scared child. And then he comes crawling out to claim victory. Oh, all right, good. Good for you. All right, that's great. But he was willing, don't get him wrong, he was willing to die a martyr to this cause. I told us that 8 days ago, last we saw him. So he didn't need to, though, because they just delivered that hand slap to our face and destroyed Israel. That's kind of what they're claiming. They just said that they've destroyed at least 1/3 of Tel Aviv and that millions were fleeing Israel right now. So
I wonder what percentage of the Iranian population believes that
I'd love
assessment.
to know. I'd love to know that.
Because another thing in that interview from Glenn you were referring to from yesterday is she talked about how Iranians don't believe what the supreme leaders and all this is just an occupying force.
And with good reason, yeah. They've been lied to for 45 years now. Well, and even before that, it's not like the Shah of Iran was a good guy. He wasn't. But what they replaced him with turned out to be even worse. I mean, she talked about the fact that hundreds of thousands of Iranians were murdered in this overthrow of anything Western in Iran. So it was pretty ugly. And it continues to be ugly. And speaking of ugly, I got to go through this Russ Vought list one more time. I think every American should memorize this list.
Yeah.
And then have it available at parties for this weekend. When your friends are talking about, we should not have listened to Donald Trump. He's just becoming a dictator, and he's slashing all of our welfare and cutting off children and elderly. Is he? How about all of this being approved or ignored, at least by the Biden administration?
Americans have been funding the following: $5.5 million to LGBTQ advocacy in Uganda, $800,000 for transgender people, sex workers, and their clients in Nepal, $3.6 for LGBTQ activism, free training in pastry cooking, psychosocial counseling, a cyber cafe, and the dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti.
And that is pretty specific stuff. That's really interesting. Dance focus groups for male prostitutes. All right. That exists. And we're funding it. So that's a relief.
$1.1 million to produce gender transformation in diverse social and behavior change report, which advocates, quote, gender blindness.
Okay. Because you don't want to see gender, right? You just want to be neutral and refer to everybody as they, them. I guess. I don't know. Who knows where this stuff is going? It's incredible. This is jaw-dropping, too. We had Kari Lake yesterday versus Representative Stanton. Ooh, this is good stuff.
You told your supporters, Richer and fellow Republican County Supervisor Bill Gates, that they, quote, sabotaged Election Day. You accused them of deliberately printing the wrong image on ballots to jam tabulators and injecting hundreds of thousands of phony ballots.
Yeah, they did.
What a joke. And here's the thing, Ms. Lake.
Read it.
When it came down to it, you chickened out. You refused to defend those lies in court. You decided to take a default judgment. You are an adjudicated liar and a two-time political
Chairman, I move to
loser
take down
in
those
Arizona.
those
I have
words,
one
please.
final question.
Chairman.
Reclaiming my time.
So she's there.
Can
you pause it? She's there to speak about the voice of America. And this a-hole, the former mayor of Phoenix who hates Kari Lake, now a congressman, takes this opportunity to go after her. And
he shouldn't have.
No.
He frankly shouldn't have.
No, because he's going to learn a hard lesson here.
She brought some receipts, too. So.
Final question.
Chairman.
Reclaiming my time.
I'd like to take down those words.
It's the gentleman's. I do not yield. I have one final question for you, Ms. Lake. You have a chance to answer. Let me one final question.
The
gentlelady will suspend, please.
You just kicked an anthill.
You lost for governor in 2022 to Katie Hobbs. You lost even worse to Ruben Gallego for Senate in 2024. Well, Arizona has another election for governor next year. Will you do us all a favor?
Ooh, what?
And run it back?
Oh, wow.
And run for governor again?
Wow, that's powerful.
I yield.
The gentlelady.
No more questions.
Can I
Respond.
respond
You may
to some of
respond.
that? Because that was complete insanity. I wish I could yield back the last 5 minutes of my life, actually. And I want to apologize to the people of Arizona that we have somebody who's representing the folks in one of our great parts of the Valley that doesn't care about the integrity of our election. So, but you weren't here. You came in late, and we're talking about USAGM today, the Agency for Global Media, and how they can put out absolute abject lies, and we can't control any. We have no say over what the editorial content is, and I would hope that you would not be okay with that. They could literally put out a lie about anybody here, and I know you've been the victim of that. I know you've been the victim. I remember the stories about you where they said you had a gay lover, and those were going
Mr.
out
Chair,
Can I
hope you honor what you just gave as a caution to everyone, and I move those words be
to tell you that those kind of lies, and you said those were lies, those kind of lies could be broadcast today on VOA, and you couldn't pick up the phone, Representative Stanton, and call them and say, hey, you're putting out lies about me. You would not be able to do that because they would sue you for breaking the firewall. So lies are being told on Voice of America. It's inappropriate. You've been subjected to lies that you said were lies about you in the media before. And how would you like it if those lies were put on Voice of America right now? Because they could do it, and you couldn't do a thing about it. You couldn't stop it. You couldn't stop all those lies that you said were said about you if they went on Voice of America today. You'd have to sit and take it.
Okay, I thank the gentlelady, and I appreciate the dialogue ruling on the chair on the member.
Check this out.
She was responding, and I thought rather complimentary that in fact those were untrue, and she was defending that. So
that's what he says.
I'll leave it as
that's what
that.
he says.
I think Mr. Stanton would agree that those were untrue statements, and she said so.
She said so. She said they were untrue.
I don't believe him, but that's what he says, that they're lies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Look, she said it's untrue. I think we can move on now, and it's still a part of the record.
I wonder if she believes it's true.
Who cares? That's hysterical.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, if you're going to kick an anthill like that, you better buckle down there, Stanton.
Wow. I did not expect that when she first started speaking. And, it was presented, I saw it presented in left-wing media as she's spewing lies about him. Well, that's not the way it was at all.
She handled it perfectly.
Yeah.
She said,
you don't want to be the victim of lies.
Right.
You've been the victim of lies in the past.
That sucked, right, bro?
That, for instance, you had a gay lover. Okay? You said that was a lie. Do you want people to continue to say it on Voice of America? I don't think so.
No, you don't want that.
You don't want that. You don't want people to think that you had a gay lover because you said you don't. So...
And what's that? Does that violate parliamentary? No, because she said that was a lie.
She said
I think
it was a
we'll
lie.
leave that in there.
Yeah.
So, next witness.
And
that
thank you,
awesome.
thank you for pointing that out, the gentle lady, for pointing out that was a lie, that he took a homosexual lover.
And I looked him up. I didn't know who Stanton was before this clip yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Married of 20 years and 2 kids. So,
okay. All right, so
he would object to that characterization, and rightfully so, because as he has made very clear,
well, he said it was a lie. It's a lie,
and you would hate to see that just blasted out there. You know what I'm saying?
You would hate that.
Would not be
you would
good.
hate that for his wife and his kids. You would. So if it's a lie, that's great that Kari Lake pointed that out. That he apparently didn't take a gay lover.
She's a helper.
She's a helper. He should thank her for that rant right there.
Because that gave
after
him the
he was
opportunity.
he was nasty to her.
Right.
And she was really sweet.
That's a good point.
To bring that up.
That is an excellent point.
Thank you.
She didn't have to be that
She didn't
nice
have
after
to.
he was a jerk.
She didn't have to.
She made sure that everybody now, because I didn't know.
I didn't know it was a lie either.
It was a lie until today.
But now we know.
Now we know.
Everybody knows.
Cleared it up.
Just like we know about the male prostitute dance clubs.
Right.
In Nepal or wherever they were. Okay. Also, man, I mean, there's just so much madness in the world that it's hard to share it all with you. Bernie Grammer.
This is a Bernie.
Bernie had a problem with Grammer?
Good catch here by Pat Hadfurian Energy, the gentleman who creates the Jeffy chewing the fat things. He was shocked that we didn't have this clip yesterday regarding Bernie Sanders' grammar issue during his Joe Rogan conversation.
Okay.
I think you got a rigged system controlled economically and politically by very, very wealthy and powerful people who could care less.
What?
Oh, boy.
For working families. Now,
there it is.
Oh,
so
no.
they could care less. So that must mean that they do care a certain amount. But they could care less about. So what? They're good people.
Good people.
They're good.
Another helper out there. Right?
Why can't people get that?
I don't know.
Couldn't care less.
I don't know.
Is when you don't care at all. If you could care less, you might care as much as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And so, thank you, Fury and Energy.
And it sucks because some people couldn't care less. They say could care less.
That is very true.
People who could care less for working families. Now,
thank you for the Bernie grammar there. That's awesome. The other thing was awesome were all the points that Rogan made with Bernie in there. I mean, keep in mind, Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders, I believe, in the 2020 election, right?
16, I believe.
16, was it? Okay, so...
I may be wrong.
So, I mean, but either one or two election cycles ago, he was on board with Bernie Sanders. Nothing could be further from the truth now. He's come a long way in a short time.
Yeah.
Long way. And while Bernie was complaining, whining, weeping, wailing again about billionaires, Rogan also reminded him about all the billionaires who contributed to his campaign. He didn't turn down any of their cash. Incredible.
I'm surprised.
Just the hypocrisy is amazing.
Yeah. That Bernie went in there. I
am too.
I don't think he was familiar with the evolution of Joe Rogan.
Must not have. His aides probably said, he endorsed you.
Yeah.
He endorsed you.
He probably left it at that.
Yeah. All right. Let's be honest. We're not getting any younger. And if you want to look and feel your best, you need to check out Pure Health Research. They've got 45 premium health supplements designed to help with every health goal you could possibly have. Whether that's boosting your energy, trimming belly fat, supporting healthy blood sugar, pumping up your testosterone, or reducing swelling in your legs, Pure Health Research Supplement Store has a really great formula for you. All of them are crafted with natural, non-GMO ingredients and backed by clinical research. Manufactured right here in the USA. And here's the best part. Pure Health Research is offering you an exclusive 35% discount right now. So just go to purehealthresearch.com. Use the promo code PAT at checkout. They have a 365-day money-back guarantee. So try it for a while. See if you like it. See if it makes a difference in your life. And then if it doesn't, you'll get your money back. So there's really no risk involved. purehealthresearch.com. Go there now, explore their 45 amazing supplements, and save 35% before this deal ends. When you use the coupon code PAT, don't miss this chance to feel your best.
Subscribe today at blazetv.com/Pat. Pat Gray Unleashed. We'll be right back.
Get some tweets here. Critical pathology tweets. Obviously, Pat has never gone clubbing with Chris Cruz if he's truly ignorant of male sex workers and interpretive dance.
Wait, is that why he's in Peru? Is that what's happening?
Could be.
Oh,
Could be.
no, Chris.
Maybe it's a USAID function. I don't know. From Dirty Mule, Iran delivered a hand slap. So did Iran use Gadahn the American?
Yeah.
Pull every last one of your soldiers, spies, interior designers and decorators, trainers, attaches, and so on and so forth,
Gadahn,
and whatnot.
Is that you, Gadahn?
Can you believe we lost him 21 years ago? An American bomb fell on his head.
No.
21 years ago. Yeah, it's been 2004.
I thought it was... No. Really?
Yeah.
2010 he died, right?
I don't think so. No, that was... No, he's been gone for a while. At least this is a 2004... I was just really quick looking up.
2015.
That he died?
Yeah.
What?
Gadahn the American... Adam
Gadahn.
Gadahn, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see, because this is an ABC News report. Let me see here.
Make no mistake about it, Barack.
Mm-hmm.
You're no longer the popular man you once were a year ago or so.
Okay, if he's
Don't
talking,
let the standing
that's right.
ovations you get wherever you go fool
If he's
you.
talking to Barack,
After all,
that couldn't have been
didn't they keep
2004,
applauding
right?
George?
Couldn't have been. So, it must have been 2010 or 2015 or something. So it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, he was only 36 years old.
Oh, no.
January 19th, 2015.
That's a darn shame.
In Pakistan.
Oh.
A long way from Oregon.
Traitor to his country, just a darn shame, isn't it?
A year ago or so. That's forceful right there.
Isn't it, though?
I'm glad you
that's
went back
powerful.
and added the or so.
It's important to be accurate.
That's the one
maybe
thing.
It wasn't exactly
That's
a
the
year.
one thing, yeah.
What if it was 14 months ago? Well, then he's just lied. And he doesn't want to do that, obviously. Let's see. From Pat's broken lightning bolt. Oh, speaking from the beyond, the great beyond, because we got rid of the broken one. Yeah. I think Stanton spent too much time at the Senate bathhouse with Lindsey Graham.
Okay. Yeah, because I think you can get one guest in there. You're not going to let a congressman roll in there on his own. You have to be a guest of a current senator, and it's probably Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it's probably him.
I guess a huge deal in Ukraine is that, and we mentioned this yesterday when we played the clip, Volodymyr Zelenskyy wore a suit to the NATO meeting when he was begging for $40 million a year.
Anybody give him any money over at the tip jar? When he got the kissing booth set up?
Probably. Yes, I'm sure they did.
Okay.
Sure they did. But apparently that's what everybody in Ukraine was talking about. And they say it may seem trivial, but fashion has a critical role to play in wartime diplomatic relations. This marks an uncommon time. We can count on one hand the number of times when Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has broken his principle of wearing military-style clothing during the full-scale invasion. By wearing his traditional green, khaki, or black shirts, he has sought to display solidarity with the troops on the ground. Do you know that was what this is about? I think it's about comfort. That's what I think it's about.
Exactly.
He doesn't like to wear a suit and tie. But he did to the NATO thing, and that's a big deal. And they mention in this article the fact that Trump was kind of pissed at him when he came to the White House, and he wore a T-shirt again, as always. And Trump came into the room and initially said, "Oh, you're all dressed up," sarcastically taking a little shot at him.
Yeah.
And then things went downhill from there. And then one of the journalists in the room asked him, "Why don't you wear a suit? Do you own a suit?" A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dress code of the Oval Office. Okay? And apparently that was a good question because Trump's team had actually asked him to dress nicely for the Oval Office. They asked him to wear a suit, and he didn't. So I'm sure it did irritate President Trump at the White House after his people asked him to wear something better than a T-shirt, and he shows up in a T-shirt, as always. I mean, you can't even show that tiny little bit of respect to the nation that supported you and your country to the tune of $250 to $300 billion, and you can't, for that particular meeting, wear something nicer than a T-shirt. Really? That's too much to ask? Yeah, I don't blame President Trump for being pissed off at him because that's ridiculous. But yesterday, he apparently learned his lesson because he met with Trump again, and Trump said it went well. Who knows? Who knows? The guy's always got his hand out, and it's never enough. You know, nothing is ever enough for that guy.
No.
The $300 billion we've given is just a drop in the bucket to what he wants now because he wants us to completely rebuild his nation. I'm done with that. I'm really done with rebuilding other people's nations. We got our own to worry about. And if this collapses while we're trying to rebuild everybody else, then we can't help anybody ever again. But we apparently have another video, speaking of President Trump over at NATO.
Yeah, we didn't get to this one.
We didn't get to this yesterday, so let's get to it now.
Clip 20 here.
President Trump.
This was an unbelievable hit by genius pilots and genius people in the military.
I love the
not
tie.
being given credit for it because we have scum that's in this group, and not all of you are. You have some great reporters, but you have scum. CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick. And what they've done is they're trying to make this unbelievable victory into something less. Now, even they admit that it was hit very hard. Okay? But it wasn't hit hard. It was hit brutally. And it knocked it out. The original word that I use, I guess it got us in trouble because it's a strong word.
Obliterated.
It was obliteration.
Yes, right.
Obliteration. Yeah. Yeah, put that back up there, a little screenshot.
Yeah, let's just see the
baby bottles.
The hair, the tie that's tied too long. Perfect.
Shout out to Green Frog Labs for doing it again. They're the best at this.
Yeah, that's great.
They are the best.
I mean, if you just had that, you would know. Without even the voice, you would know that's President Trump, right? Being depicted there. That's awesome. And yet, it's baby Trump.
I love it.
So good.
So think about it. We've gone full circle. We started off with Daddy Trump today, and we've ended up at Baby Trump. All the Trumps. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So I guess all of the NATO nations are seemingly on board with the 5% rule now.
Oh, I didn't get an update on Spain. Did we get
I don't know about Spain, but most of them are saying, yeah, all right, we're gonna pony up here. We're gonna pay our fair share. I think they're starting to realize that with this particular president, he's serious, and he backs up what he says.
Spain expects no repercussions from not meeting NATO 5% spending target.
So they've admitted they're just not going to do it.
It does.
Wow.
I'm doing a quick little search here. Yeah. Why Spain? Here's the story. Spain was the only country to reject the NATO 5% defense target.
Wow.
But I don't know.
Right. So if Spain is attacked again, like they were in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, if anybody should be concerned about Islamic terrorism encroaching on their country.
Sorry, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Or we'll help them
Drive
about
safely.
40% of the way, and then we'll give them the rest of it to deal with.
All right, 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
I got to thank Rowdy Introvert for
hero.
Guys, he really is. Thank you, Rowdy. This it's amazing. He does have, for some reason, I don't have the Gadahn the American original anymore. I don't know. I only have room for 1,000 clips.
Yes, right.
So
I guarantee you,
I might have deleted it.
Or Steve Dace did.
Or Steve Dace did.
He's in here breaking stuff, erasing audio.
Yep.
What's his deal?
Yeah, I don't know.
Saboteur.
I don't know.
Steve.
He sneaks in here from Iowa.
Right.
And just starts messing with stuff.
One day I was walking by and the studio here was dark and there was somebody creeping around in here.
And it was Steve Dace. Steve Dace.
He's looking to steal stuff.
Steve Dace. Looking to steal Pat Gray Unleashed stuff.
Or break it.
Yeah, whatever. But Rowdy did have this version of it. Now, there's several versions.
Right,
I cannot find the actual original, but this sounds a lot like it. This is very close.
First, you must pull every last one of your soldiers.
You see, it's a different delivery, right?
Hold on. It is a different delivery.
Different delivery.
But the template is the same in the teleprompter. Because it starts the same.
Right.
He modernizes it this time with drone talk.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right.
Spies, security advisors, trainers, attachés, contractors, robots, drones, and all other American personnel, ships, and aircraft out of every Muslim land from Afghanistan to Zanzibar.
He tried to do it the same, but it's not exactly, but it's very close. And we lost him, so now he can't do it again.
It's always hard to recreate the original magic.
It is.
Of perfection. So he got as close as he could to the live version of a studio song,
So I believe that's what came from 2004. He didn't die in 2004. He delivered that video.
Well, no.
In 2004, right?
The original one, yeah. That update there had the drone references, though. So
so that was later on.
Uh-oh, Pat. I may have found the original one.
Oh, really?
I'll send it to you. We'll see, because it's dated 15 years ago.
Okay.
So
all right, we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Boy, cool.
Yeah.
How do you?
It's awesome.
How does your life path weave its way to Pakistan?
It's really interesting.
Public relations for the Taliban.
The kid was a Southern California kid, grew up on a farm in Southern California. And then I guess he converted to Islam when he was 17. And he became so radical that he actually hit the imam in the face. The mosque imam punched him in the face, got kicked out of the mosque. And that's when I think he traveled to the Middle East, because they weren't radical enough for him here. And wow, I don't know how he got that radicalized that early, because that's prior to the time when all of this stuff was online, right? That's before social media stuff.
Interesting.
When did Twitter first hit? Was it 07, 08, 09, somewhere in there?
Yeah, about that time, yeah.
So anyway, very strange. But he was one of the few Americans to ever be, after World War II, to be tried with treason. I think he's the only one to actually physically be charged with treason. And obviously wasn't tried. We killed him over there eventually.
Should have dragged him back.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think
that would have been great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would have been a circus too. They would have dragged that on forever. So this is interesting. The Supreme Court is wrapping up now their session, and they've got some really important decisions to make here. They got pending rulings on birthright citizenship to decide, pornography, and the other thing is voting rights. So some pretty interesting stuff. The porn site age verification thing, the Free Speech Coalition is going up against Ken Paxton in Texas. Texas law requiring websites to verify visitors' ages, part of a growing effort to limit access by minors to online sexual content. How dare they do that, right? That's First Amendment speech right there, is showing naked women to 12-year-olds. Texas is one of nearly 20 states to institute that requirement, which critics argue violates First Amendment free speech rights. Man. But conservative-dominated appeals court upheld the age verification requirement, prompting the trade group to take its case to the Supreme Court. So we'll see what happens there. How is John Roberts going to rule on this? How is Amy Coney Barrett going to rule on this? And also, there's students and LGBT-themed content in schools. That's stemming from schools in Maryland. And there's Planned Parenthood funding involved in this at the end of the session here. And then the case on voting rights. It's a challenge by a group of white voters to a congressional map adopted last year by the state legislature of Louisiana, creating a second black majority district. Is that okay to do? Interesting. So black people make up a third of the population of Louisiana, which has 6 congressional districts and generally vote Democrat. Opponents of the redrawn map argue that using race to design congressional maps is racial gerrymandering prohibited by the Constitution. That's a big one for the Supreme Court to decide. We'll see how that comes out. In the meantime, we have some rulings, or at least questions, from Ketanji Brown Jackson.
This is a wonderful montage I noticed on the Blaze Twitter account yesterday.
Okay.
And I don't know how long you're going to hang out on this one. It's about 5 minutes long, but it's there's a recurring phrase that Ketanji Brown Jackson uses over and over during Supreme Court case arguments. And see if any of them... See if it stands familiar. Out? Yeah, see if you can pick out the phrase that pays here. Okay. Oral argument highlights. Just 1 year.
With a little 80s music in the background.
I don't understand. Can I just understand? And I don't understand. And so what I don't understand, I don't understand your argument. I'm just trying to understand your answer. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I don't understand.
Okay.
I don't understand. And I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand, but I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. So I'm trying to understand. I'm sort of with Justice Kagan trying to understand. I don't understand. I don't understand because I'm still trying to understand. Maybe I'm just not understanding. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand, and I don't understand. I was just trying to understand. So I guess I don't understand, and I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm struggling to understand, and I don't understand. Can you help me to understand? I'm sort of with Justice Alito and trying to understand, but I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to understand. I guess I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand. I don't understand, nor do I understand. I don't understand what I don't understand. So I'm misunderstanding your rule. I'm just trying to understand, and I'm trying to understand. I don't understand that. I don't understand. So I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand why not. I don't understand at all. So can you help me understand? I don't understand. I don't understand.
This is incredible.
Just trying to.
I mean, this must be every case.
I don't understand. I don't even understand.
Multiple times.
Every argument.
And is it shocking though because she doesn't know what a woman is, if you recall?
Oh, that's right. Well, she's trying to understand, I think.
Yeah.
She just doesn't understand.
I'm trying to understand
what a woman is.
I don't really understand. Yes, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
understand. And what I can't understand,
It just
I don't
goes
understand.
on and on.
So I don't understand. Can you help me understand? So I don't.
Can
even
you help her
understand?
understand? Can anybody? I don't think you can really.
Like, did she ever get an answer to any of these questions?
I don't
No.
That she understood?
No, she's never understood any of these rulings.
that at all.
That's why she rules the way she does.
I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't really understand. Help me to understand.
Oh, then she makes
I
it a
don't
really
quite
understand.
It takes.
I guess
Think about
I'm
this.
not
It
sure
takes
I
about
understand that. And so I guess
a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds to say that. And yet this is 5 minutes
I was just
long.
told we're halfway through it.
I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand. I'm just trying to understand. And I don't understand. But
I mean, this is hundreds of times saying it.
Can I understand?
Do you never
why?
realize that you say this
So
all
I
the
don't
time?
understand.
And so you try not to do
I don't
that?
understand. And so help me to understand. Well, I guess I just want to understand. I guess I just don't understand.
So if you're playing Ketanji Brown Jackson bingo, I don't understand is the main square. And you win. Yeah, it's right in the middle there. The middle square.
I guess I just don't. I'm not fully
Understanding.
understanding. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to even understand. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand.
She's a good one.
I guess I'm just trying to understand.
She's a good one.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
I guess
He's
I
a
don't
good one.
understand.
Give
I
him
don't
a-
understand. And I'm
trying to understand? Okay,
So maybe
yeah.
I'm not understanding.
Maybe
I'm
you're
trying to
not.
understand.
She's trying to.
just
So
trying to
that's.
understand. So I guess I'm struggling
This is.
with trying to
Are we
understand.
seriously going to go to the end of
I'm
this?
really trying to understand.
I'm trying to. I'm actually trying to understand.
I don't know if I'm.
How she doesn't understand any of these things.
I may vomit before we get there. Stuart just tells me we still have 90 seconds of this
Oh
nonsense.
boy, I don't know if I can get there, but
Trying to understand. I'm trying to understand.
I'm surprised we've
I
gotten
don't
this far,
understand,
though.
but I don't
Yeah.
understand. I don't understand.
I
I'm just
seriously, I
trying
think I'm gonna
understand.
vomit
Can
now.
you just help me to understand? Because I don't
okay, we got
understand.
it. Jeez, that's incredible. Okay, she's just trying to understand. I mean, that should give Democrats pause, right, before they nominate these liberal judges, because frankly, they don't understand. That's pretty obvious and pretty clear.
Only the best.
I think at this
Only
point.
the best nominees from the left.
And again, that's the same woman who couldn't describe what a woman is.
She doesn't understand.
She doesn't understand. And she's trying to understand. She's struggling to understand. Maybe you can help her understand. Is that possible? Could you do that? All right, let me help you understand this. That Kexi cookies are absolutely the best cookies available on the face of this planet. And, you know, as we're trying to make the apocalypse fun, eating these Kexi cookies can also make it just comforting at the same time. One of our customers, Sarah, shared this about her experience. I've been listening to Pat talk about these cookies for months now, so I finally ordered some. Basically, all I can say is, WTF is wrong with you guys? I received my package of 12 on a Thursday, and by Saturday, I had one left.
Looks like somebody understands the magic of Kexi cookies now.
Yes. Do you know how hard it is not to eat it? I do, because I just ate a full one last night. That my wife she came up with this. I don't know, sugar, cinnamon. Oh, it was just so good. I could not stop eating it. I'll be ordering again, and probably monthly, if not weekly. Tried them straight from the package. Tried them warmed up. Best cookies, addictive and full of flavor. Thanks for such a great product. Well, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. I was in the parking lot of a grocery store in Southlake, Texas, yesterday, and somebody getting into their car 2 rows away from me recognized me and yelled out, not, hey, love the show. She yelled out, hey, love your cookies.
Oh, nice.
But that's how good they are. They really are. You got to taste them to believe them. So go to Kexi.com, order yours today. Keksi, Kexi.com.
Pat Gray returns.
Then we've got this Democrat from California, Latifah Simon, who lashed out at a Republican witness at a House Oversight Committee hearing yesterday because they quoted Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Simon told the witnesses to keep King's name out of their mouths. It's the old Will Smith thing. Keep that name out of your mouth. During a hearing on diversity, equity, and inclusion, she said, there are so few folks who have actually studied and are clear on the theology of King. Very few of you have read and studied and have sat in Ebenezer Baptist Church. So I would ask you keep Dr. King's name out of your mouth. I mean, first of all, who do you think you are? Who died and made you the MLK Jr. police? Second, if we're playing that game, how about you keep George Washington out of your mouth, or any of the founders, or the Constitution? If we're going to play that game, let's play that game. Okay? You can't ever quote founders if we can't quote Martin Luther King Jr. Since when do these representatives own him? I think that'd be a surprise to the MLK family, actually. And I don't think it would be appreciated by his niece, for instance. 888-900-3393. Let's go to Cassidy here in Texas. Hey, Cassidy.
Bingo!
Nice job.
Good job. Where in Texas are you calling from, Cassidy?
I'm in San Antonio.
San Antonio. All right. Where did your bingo happen?
Across the second row.
Mm-hmm. Starting with?
We have, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
That should give you pause.
Right.
Sprinkle with all the things.
Mm-hmm.
He says someone brought receipts. Alex Jones with they're turning the frickin' frogs gay. And Jesse with some would say.
You got it.
Nice job.
Nice job, Cassidy. Thanks. Appreciate your listening. We got the $30 worth of merchandise from PatGrayShop.com and the dozen Kexi cookies from Kexi.com. Congratulations on that. We got this from Pathead Marcus. You know, the church shooting that we talked about, when was this? Last week?
No, it was
week before?
No, it happened
was it just this week?
Yeah, it happened Sunday.
He says that church shooting you guys talked about was my church. The deacon who ran down the shooter with his truck had his truck totaled due to the extensive damage from the shooter, firing nearly a dozen rounds into his truck. My gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
They're doing a GoFundMe to replace his truck, if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
We know the address on that?
I'm posting it as we speak.
Okay, cool.
I'm doing it right now. Mm-hmm.
My wife and kids were all on the stage. It was our VBS week. I was in the sanctuary, and when we heard the shots, just helped everyone get out and hide. The church backs up to a big field and woods. We ran out to the woods and got the kids down there. Seeing God's hand move was probably the most amazing part. Several things happening at once. We were supposed to be outside for service, but with extreme heat this week, that moved us inside.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's a good thing.
Oh, my goodness.
The deacon was running late for service because he was picking up donuts for after church and saw the shooter begin firing when he hit him. That gave our security team time to respond to eliminate him. A person living across the street saw him getting out of his truck from his porch and called 911. Surreal.
Oh, man.
Wow. That's amazing. That is really something.
So that was Richard Pryor. First of all, love your comedy. But his... I
thought we lost him a long time ago.
Thank you. Tweeting that out right now, at Pat Unleashed, if you are able to help. Fund a new truck that totaled.
Oh, man.
In stopping this shooter.
So the shooter shot into the truck. Was it 12 times, you said?
I think that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. That's amazing.
Yeah, and God bless these church security teams.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's armed among you there. And I'm glad that the only person to die was the bad guy.
Yes.
Another good guy with a gun and a truck saved the day.
That's right. All right. We got this interesting story about the Diamondbacks, Arizona Diamondbacks, second baseman Ketel Marte, or is it Marty?
Marte.
Ketel Marte. He broke down and cried after a fan said something about his mother who passed away. It's really sad. Arizona Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo jumped to the aid of second baseman Ketel Marte after a fan ridiculed the player's late mother. I mean, that's not cool, but Ketel is 31 years old. This happened, his mom died 8 years ago, right? 7 or 8 years ago? 2017, so 8 years ago. And he's sobbing at second base. That's just, that's amazing that he's still that sensitive about it. But it happened when the Diamondbacks were playing the Chicago White Sox at Chicago's Rate Field. Lovullo put his arm around Marte, who could be seen in tears, during a pitching change in the bottom of the seventh, while shortstop Geraldo Perdomo stood by. It was unclear at that moment what upset him, but we found out later.
Yeah.
Fans are nasty, aren't they?
Yeah.
They can be really ugly. And so the manager said, I've known Ketel for 9 years, and he's had some unbelievably great moments and some hardships as well, and some really, really tough moments in his life. And I know those. At the end of the day, we're human beings, and we have emotions. I saw him hurting, and I wanted to protect him. That's really nice.
Yeah, I don't know why people have to be such jerks, Like,
I mean, to start yelling about somebody's dead mother?
Yeah.
Very uncool. Yep. On a slightly happier note, I guess for some, Jeff Bezos' wedding in Venice. Apparently, he's rented out virtually the entire city. They rented out one of the really nice, ritzy hotels in Venice, and I guess they wanted to have it all to themselves for the wedding party. And so guests who were already staying there were kicked out of the hotel and moved somewhere else. That would piss me off.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand people being upset about that. But what I don't understand is just the absolute hatred, the Marxist hatred for anybody who's wealthy.
I guess I'm struggling to understand.
What?
They had a huge banner greeting him as he flew into the city that said, "Hey, if you can afford to rent Venice, you could afford to pay more tax." Okay, what a bizarre Marxist way of thinking. So if you make too much money, you want him to embolden and enrich governments through taxation. Is that right? They don't point out, hey, if you're going to rent Venice, then how about you help out the poor in our city a little bit? I mean, that might make sense. But the class warfare thing from these Marxists is just building resentment against wealth and has really been effective. And now you've just got people hating rich people just because they're rich.
Is he going to be needing the services of people for his wedding? Maybe a baker, florist, people that he could employ that will be enriched by his presence.
You know what? I think so, yeah. Huh. Yeah, I think there might be some people making some money who are involved in that wedding situation.
So
somebody's making a cake, I'm sure.
Right. So they're closing down the city basically for him.
Basically.
And how much do we know? How much he's injecting into the local economy?
Yeah. There'll be a band, I'm sure.
Oh, there'll be a band.
There'll be a band. There'll be food. Somebody's going to cater it.
So I wonder, can Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or maybe who's going to team up to clean up Los Angeles before the Olympics get there? Because you need some wealth injected there.
That's for sure.
Because the homeless situation, they now have a new thing where if you've been asked to move 3 times, they can arrest you or something.
In L.A.?
Yeah, the homeless are going to be all locked up during the Olympics.
Yeah.
When that comes to town.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. But I'm wondering if LA could find someone like a Jeff Bezos to come in and help them write a check and clean up that place.
They need to do something because is it 26 that's happening or is it 28?
28, right? 28, I believe.
I think it is 28.
It's coming up in a couple of years.
Yeah. But so they got a little time to clean up.
But I mean, I love this. The same people that are screaming that Mr. Moneybags is coming to town are the same people that would scream at Mr. Moneybags for, well, give back to the community or, help out places. Why not? Well, he's trying to.
Yes, exactly right.
Jeez.
But they've, it's all been misplaced. The anger about somebody's wealth is misplaced. They want it to go to the government instead of, Jeff Bezos, and I'm sure he does plenty of charitable work. All these billionaires do. I mean, he's not known like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are for their philanthropy, but that he gives to charitable causes. Why would you care about whether or not he pays more taxes? Jeez. Enriching governments that should not be your main point. All right,
I just don't understand, so I can't understand. I guess I don't understand.
Pat Gray Unleashed.